The New York Giants have won their last 2 games, and in those games, Phil Simms has thrown for over 300 yards, and Mike Freedy has 13 catches, including 6 last week against Green Bay. The San Francisco 49ers, they have the #1 ranked passing offense in the NFC. Here's Steve DeBerg hits Freddie Solomon. Solomon this year with 31 catches, 5 of those have gone for touchdowns. Welcome to Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where today the San Francisco 49ers, with an 8-game losing streak, 3-8, playing host to the New York Giants. The Giants are 3-8 also. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Bender along with John Madden. And John, if you like wide open offenses and a passing game, today's your cup of tea.
We'll see it today, won't we? For a number of reasons. One, that's the thing that both of these teams do best. 2, neither one of these teams are very strong defensively. And the third reason is that neither one of them have a very good running game.
We have an interesting experiment going on here in San Francisco. Coach Bill Walsh has a quarterback shuffle. Now, he'll start with Steve DeBerg, but throughout the contest, Joe Montana will come in.
The old quarterback shuffle. That's true. You know, he started early in the season with Steve DeBerg as a starting quarterback. He then went to Joe Montana. Then he went back to Steve DeBerg. I think his compromise is to try and play them both within one game.
And you don't particularly like that.
No, I never did believe in that. I believe that you chose one quarterback, you said he is your quarterback, you showed confidence in him, and you stayed with him.
The Giants have won 2 in a row, and what an addition Mike Freedy is.
He's amazing. First of all, it's amazing that he was waived by Detroit. But the second amazing thing about this person is he runs 4.5, and that's real fast.
And he is glad to be in New York.
Coming to New York for me was a great opportunity in that I've been there and had a couple of good games the last 2 games, and I feel real fortunate to just be getting the chance to play. And what I'm used mainly for is an intermediate type route runner when we need a first down on 3rd down. And then every once in a while we'll throw a long one just to keep people honest.
There's Ray Perkins, the 38-year-old coach for the Giants. The 49ers have won the toss. They've elected to receive. Joe Danello will kick off to the league's leading kickoff return man, James Owen, who this year had a 101-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. He brings it out to the 32-yard line. This is the 12th meeting between these 2 clubs. The Giants have never lost here, and they have won their last 5 in a row. As you look at Owens, Owens will see some action today. He's been slowed with a hamstring injury. As we take a look at the starting lineup, Ron Singleton is not in there. He has a bad case of flu, and Gene Barrett will go in his place. And there is Earl Cooper, the outstanding #1 draft pick out of Rice. The quarterback starting it will be Steve DeBerg. We'll check it very closely because they will alternate. He, along with Joe Montana, will filter back and forth. On first down, DeBerg to throw. Owens has a catch for the first down. This will be a welcome addition to San Francisco, John, to have Owens capable of playing from the line of scrimmage.
Well, you said that he was going to play quite a bit today, and he's getting started right on the first play. James Owens is starting today.
Owens, along with Solomon and Dwight Clark, a very excellent wide receiving core for the San Francisco team. First down at the 50-yard line after an 18-yard completion that time to James Owens. Steve DeBerg, coming into this game, has thrown 12 touchdown passes, but also has suffered 16 interceptions. From the 50, first down to Berg again, and this time it's Freddie Solomon. That's his 32nd catch of the year, and that is almost, if not a first down. Mike Haynes, the #1 draft pick for the Giants over there. And John, we said this was going to be a passing game.
And they aren't waiting to show you that either, are they? On that play, they had 3 wide receivers in there. They only had 1 running back in the backfield, and Mark Haynes was playing real deep on Freddie Solomon.
Mike Whittington will start in place of Brad Van Pelt. We expect Van Pelt to play, though, before the day's over. There is Haynes, the man you mentioned, Dennis, who has 5 interceptions, the rookie free agent from Wyoming. From the 40-yard line, that last pass was a first down. Here is Earl Cooper, the rookie from Rice. And he's able to advance that football to the 36. George Martin, who played very well in the win last week for the New York Giants, made the stop. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. You saw DeBerg looking to the sideline. Bill Walsh will call all the plays.
Right, he'll call all the plays, and the way the 49ers are doing this now, what they're doing is they're switching ends. They've gone from 3 wide receivers to two tight ends and back to two tight ends.
Here's Earl Cooper on a second down. 2nd and 7, moving the ball inside the 35, and Whittington is in there. Now look at this cast on the left hand of DeBerg. He has a fractured bone in the wrist, affects his thumb. I would think that would affect the snap from center.
Well, it will, and it'll affect more than the snap from center. It will affect his handoff, especially in the running game. You know, Steve DeBerg used a cast last year, and it didn't bother him an awful lot on the passing game, but it does on the running when he's handing off to his running backs.
3rd down, 3 yards to go for the San Francisco team. They've been able to move the football this year, but they've had a tough time getting it in the end zone. We get close to the goal line, they might bring in Joe Montana. Here's DeBerg with time to throw. He has Don Woods to the 25, the 20, and out of bounds. Don Woods, who was added to this football team when Paul Hofer went out for the year with a knee injury, comes up with a first down grab.
Well, see this, he just comes back. It's a play fake. He really didn't spend much time faking to his halfback, and then he came right back out and hit Woods out here in the side, and he just outran the linebacker down the sideline.
That first down moves the ball inside the 10-yard line. Woods with his 14th catch, a 16-yard gain on the play. Woods is the man you might recall was the Rookie of the Year in the National Football League in 1974 when he gained 1,162 yards for San Diego. Dwight Clark split to the top of the screen along with Solomon. DeBerg on first down. In the corner, Charlie Young. Young, and good defensive play that time by Mike Dennis. Dennis has really been a find as far as this New York team is concerned.
He sure has. On that play, they split Charlie Young out on the left side here as a wide receiver. They had their two normal wide receivers on the right side. Charlie Young split out left here, trying to get man on Mike Dennis in the end zone, and of course it didn't do him any good.
You saw that score a while ago. Cleveland with a big win today. We'll keep you posted on all the scores from back east. Brian Sipe in that game had 4 touchdown passes. 2nd down 10. He's leading as far as quarterback rating is concerned in the AFC. DeBerg on 2nd down. This is Cooper. Cooper to the 15, to the 10, Cooper to the 9. Earl Cooper, who leads the National Football League in receptions, coming in here with 60, dropped by Frank Marion. And despite this, John, they are criticizing him here in the Bay Area.
Well, I don't know. You know, they look at some of his running statistics, and he didn't have big games lately, but I'll tell you, he does catch the ball, and he does make things happen for this team. He was the only back in the backfield in that play. They had 3 wide receivers. Dwight Clark started in the backfield, shifted up to a tight end position, which left Cooper all by himself in the backfield, and they just ran a screen pass to him.
Boy, is that a big win for Detroit, as they will hold on to a piece of first place in that NFC Central Division. 3rd down, less than a yard to go. Woods over the top. Looks like he got the first down, but he was racked pretty good as he took it over. Both these teams have failed to average 100 yards a game on the ground. And Buffalo defeated Pittsburgh 28-13.
Pittsburgh's been playing those close games lately, and they just won last week right at the end of the game, and they couldn't do it again.
Ferguson in that game had 3 touchdown passes. There's a look at Bill Walsh.
Looks like he's all wired up to go to the moon.
He better not move too quickly. He might get hurt. They're going to measure to see if they got this first down. We thought they had, but let's see, in fact, if he did. He did. And so it's 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Now, John, this is a thing that's very interesting. The 49ers can move the ball with DeBerg seemingly, but now is the acid test. They haven't been able to get it across that goal line.
That's been the problem. They can move it up and down and between the 20s, and once they get inside the 20, they've been having trouble. This is one of the areas where they've gone to Joe Montana.
Well, we look to the near sideline. He's standing, helmet on, ready to go, standing alongside Bill Walsh. 1st and goal now at the 8-yard line. That's Solomon in motion. DeBerg on the roll, and he has Solomon to the 2. Mike Haynes, and they're going after the young rookie from Colorado. And Freddie Solomon, who doesn't have statistic-wise as impressive a season as last year, but is playing better football, which might seem like a contradiction.
Well, he is. He said he's playing more disciplined football. We talked to him yesterday, and he said the biggest difference is he spent the entire offseason and the training camp thinking about the patterns that he was supposed to run and doing them as he's supposed to. Last year, he just ran what he was supposed to, and if he didn't like it, he'd run something else.
He had 57 catches last year. Came into this game with 31. 2nd and goal now from the 2. Berg is still in there, and over the top they go. The ball is fumbled, and New York has recovered. And the turnover will move the ball back to the 10. John Scorpan, who's a leading tackler on this New York team, came up with the elusive ball.
Here we see it again. It was just a goal line play where the onside guard pulled, and as he goes in there, he loses the ball. This has been the problem for the 49ers all year. They get down there close, and they get snake bit.
And so the Giants have been able to weather what looked like a touchdown drive.
I looked at Datsun 280ZX and Porsche 924 because I wanted a refined sports car. Then I looked at and drove this new Mazda RX-7, and that's all it took.
Just one look, that's all it took. Yeah, just one look, that's all it took.
The Mazda RX-7 keeps getting better. Even the mileage is 24% better than last year. And the more I looked, the more I liked the looks of its price.
The more you look, the more you like.
I'll tell you, I was a born soccer player. Did everything with my feet. Took out the rubbish with my feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands, drinking light beer from Miller. Light has a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, but what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
There's the man who fumbled a football, Don Woods, trying to go over the top. As an end result, the Giants recovering out at the 10-yard line, and Phil Simms now will have his first offensive opportunity. There's Steve DeBerg. He's discussing why that ball got loose very graphically.
I think he's talking about some of those passes and wish that he had a pass play down there. The 49ers, as we said earlier, they just don't run the ball well, Gary.
Well, that was evident there. Let's look at that offensive line. A quick look at it. Billy Taylor will be starting today. He's been slowed with a thigh injury. Bo Matthews going, as Leon Perry and Larry Heater have been starting in the past, but a new change in that backfield. Mike Freedy split to the top of the screen is Gary Shirk. You see him moving into the tight end spot on first down. And over the middle comes Shirk. Shirk able to move it out to the 19. Now let's go to the NFL Sports Control in New York for an update from Brent Musburger.
Gary, thank you very much. New England completely dominated Baltimore today, 47-21. They had 2 touchdowns scored on fumble recoveries. Watch this one here. Timmy Anderson going to give it up, and here comes Alan Clark. Ray Claiborne earlier had scored on a fumble recovery, and that's the final. Let's go back to Gary Bender.
Gain of 9 yards on last play as Billy Taylor now carrying and picking up a first down for the Giants, who move it out to the 22. Jim Stuckey, one of the 2 first-round draft picks this year for San Francisco, making the stop. There he is. Stuckey has really been plagued with a lot of problems injury-wise, a hip and an ankle, and they believe at the end of this year he'll have to have ankle surgery. There is Simms. Simms has just been outstanding the last 2 weeks. He is the first New York Giant quarterback since Y.A. Tittle in 1961 to have back-to-back 300-yard games. That's Shirk in motion on a first down. Bo Matthews. Matthews having some problems with the footing. Able to make it out to the 24-yard line. A gain of 2 to bring up second down and 8. Let's go back and see what the problems are. This is only 3rd time this year the Giants have played on natural grass.
And I think we'll see that Bo Matthews slips right here. See, he's starting to make the cut. As he plants his left foot to make the cut, it slips out from under him. That's one of the problems here at Candlestick, is even if it doesn't rain, this field is always damp.
We're watching San Francisco very closely. They'll be jumping into a 4-man front, I think, through the course of this game. Right now, they're in that 3-man front with Reese as the nose tackle. Bill Walsh indicated they would go to 4-man, and there is Reese jumping off.
I think you mentioned his name, and he heard it, and he started to jump.
Now, I don't need that kind of pressure. Don't start bringing that on.
I think maybe the Giants showed him something. Red Cashin saying there, wait, that was against, nope, wait a minute. No, it's against the other. That's it, smile, Red. You know, there's not many of us redheads around.
I got to ask you something, Mr. Madden. You went down and visited with the officials. Let's listen now to Red Cashin.
Encroachment Number 78 on the defense, still second down.
You went down to the officials' room before the game, and you came out of there with a towel. What was that supposed to do?
A towel and a tab. I wanted to get a tab. They didn't have any in the concession area, so I went and took one from the official. I think they gave it to me, though.
I thought maybe they wanted you to throw it in somewhere. Second down now. 3 yards to go. Sims. And a very safe slide, and he's very close to the first down. He was looking to the chain to see where he had to go. Bobby Leopold over there. Leopold, one of the surprises this year, an 8th-round draft pick out of Notre Dame for San Francisco. Sims, rushing-wise, he's been pretty effective, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. There's Leopold. This is a team that had a pretty good draft. They've had 3 rookie linebackers they've been using, and of those, this guy's probably played the best.
He sure has, and he has very good speed, and of course that's one thing that a rookie can make a few mistakes, and if he has that true speed, he can make a mistake, react, and still get in and make a play, and that's what Bobby Leopold does a lot.
Ernest Gray to the bottom of the screen. That's Billy Taylor in motion on a first down. Sims off to Bo Matthews. Matthews having a little trouble hanging on to the 35, 37-yard line. Terry Tutalo, the former Philadelphia Eagle via Chicago. He played with Chicago in the preseason. Over to make the stop. As we have an isolation on the man we talked a while ago, Bobby Leopold.
Here's the thing about Leopold. We'll see here he's coming on a blitz. You see, and he gets in there, he rushes the passer, and then he'll turn and run and go and try and make a play. And that's the big thing about his speed. He can do those types of things. Very active.
They were mentioning, John, that he's so fundamentally sound. He was very well coached at Notre Dame. Second down, up the middle, Billy Taylor, the BT Express across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Dan Buns, who's in place of Scott Hilton, coming up with a stop. And here is a big, big win in Veterans Stadium. Philadelphia over Oakland.
Philadelphia, that was a real tough game. I know that those are 2 of the top teams in the National Football League, and you knew that they were going to have a good one when they got together. I see that Wilbert Montgomery scored the final touchdown in that game.
What do you think when you look at those Oakland scores? You still have some nostalgia there?
That's tough.
First down now for the Giants at the 47. Sims on first down. Again, he'll dump it off to Bo Matthews. Matthews to the 50 and a collision at the 49-yard line. Gain of 5, Jimmy Webb, along with Willie Harper. And on the stop, Harper is the oldest man on this football team, and he's only 30 years old, as we have 2 very young teams. Willie Harper not getting up very quickly. He has been shaken up.
I'll tell you, when you have a collision with Bo Matthews, that's a real collision. Bo played for San Diego Chargers for years, and we played against him a number of times, and he is a real strong, and he's real tough to tackle. It hurts, like Willie Harper's saying right now.
Willie Harper's saying, let me shake this one off. We'll be back in a moment.
For the John Geyer family, life has suddenly changed. Presenting InTelevision, the 2-component home video system from Mattel Electronics. Start with the master component for super video games and education. Then add the keyboard component, available in 1981 for finances, self-improvement, and more. Discover InTelevision. Its growing library of programs can change your family's life.
Can't wait to show you my new car. A solid, new 1981 Bartell.
Bud, that's the new 81 Cutlass Supreme.
A sure Oldsmobile had it built, but it's me. Solid. Sound good? Great styling, and I even got a diesel for solid economy. I tell you, this car is me.
We've had one built for you.
Bartell.
Cutlass Supreme.
Oldsmobile.
Next Saturday, precision and daring as pilots from around the world wing it on the CBS Sports, and the battle of the NFL cheerleaders continues next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
We're ready to go now. Second down, 6 for the Giants at the 49, and we will be welcoming right now the viewers of that Atlanta-Chicago game. Atlanta now with their 9th win of the year. In that game, Bartkowski had what, 3 touchdown passes? Boy, what a year he is having.
William Andrews did a little of that, too.
6 minutes to go in this first quarter. 49ers took the ball, drove down to the 2-yard line. They fumbled it, and now the Giants are on the move. Sims out to Billy Taylor, and he's hit by Archie Reese. He stays on his feet somehow. What a job by Archie Reese, who has been moved to that nose tackle spot after the 49ers moved to a 3-4 defense in the 9th game. And you can see why they did when he makes plays like that.
I know it, and he enjoys the position now. He said at first that he was reluctant to go in there, but you know the talk, will do anything for the team. He said after he got in there for a few games, he knows where they're coming from now. You know, you have the center coming straight on you, a guard from either side. He said he figured out where they can come from, and I can handle it, and I enjoy it.
On 3rd and 7, Sims with good protection. Now going to run out of it. That's Archie Reese who has him. Archie Reese at the 45. Let's go back to New York now for an update with Brent Musburger.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. The Philadelphia Eagles ran their record to 11-1. Jaworski with a great escape effort on 3rd down hit Harris. This set up the winning touchdown, a 3-yard run by Wilbert Montgomery. The Raiders are now tied with the Chargers in the AFC West. Let's send you back to Gary Bender.
Dave Jennings, who leads the National Football League in bunting. What a job he's doing. A 46.8 average. On 4th down will kick. Dwight Hicks along with Freddie Solomon deep for the 49ers. There's no score here in Candlestick. Freddie Solomon on the run. And he ran into his own man on that play. That was Terry Tutalo. Let's go back on that last play by Archie Reese getting to Phil Sims.
Archie Reese made 2 of these plays in a row, and watch him just run over Jim Clack. He takes him, throws him down right over the top of him.
And so from the 34-yard line, San Francisco will have the football for the 2nd time in this first quarter of play.
STP, a big name in racing for nearly 20 years. STP oil treatment on the track in some of the world's most expensive engines. Around the track, around the world, every day, tens of thousands of people get STP oil treatment. Get it for your car, satisfaction guaranteed. Around the track, around the world, STP oil treatment is #1.
Paul, my quarterback's got a better arm.
Right on. Better than a pitcher? Namath, you've been out of the game too long.
Hey, that's enough talk, fellas. Let's let Flash decide.
Flash?
Yeah.
Flash is an electronic game for all-around competitors.
Watch this. Yeah.
Flash tests your timing, reflexes, memory, and accuracy because Flash is programmed for 5 challenging games. Flash keeps score for up to 5 players, and super shots mean super bonus points. Flash with 5 electronic games.
It's a great game from Ideal.
Monday on a special 1-hour Flo.
Happy Turkey Day, boys!
Flo plans a Thanksgiving reunion, but will the feathers fly when her daddy arrives? Find out Monday on Flo.
Well, that last kick by Dave Jennings may have jinxed him by mentioning he was the leading punter of the National Football League. It went only 29 yards. Solomon, who leads the NFC in punt returns, was able to bring it back 8. It's going to be quite a battle today. We'll keep close watch of that statistically for you. From the 34 to Berg, and a 1st down for his team. He has Dwight Clark, and Dwight Clark has his 56th catch of the year as he brings it out to the 41-yard line. Mike Whittington, the rookie free agent from Notre Dame, playing in place of the injured Van Pelt, over to make the stop. This is interesting. The Giants have never lost, and the last time that the 49ers beat New York was 1968. As you look at DeBerg, who's gone all the way thus far at quarterback, he has Cooper and Woods in the backfield as we have 2nd down and a long 2 to go. DeBerg out of San Jose State in his 4th year. He has Solomon in motion. This is Don Woods. Woods trying to protect the ball, and he has a 1st down run to the 48-yard line. So both times that San Francisco's had the ball, they've been able to move it thus far. Myron Lapka, the rookie from USC, their 3rd-round draft pick, made the stop. John Ayers throwing the block up front. And mentioning Ayers, who is number 68, they think he has vastly improved this year. Excellent pass blocker. Probably their best offensive lineman, though, is Randy Cross, number 51. He's the right side offensive guard. Solomon split to the top of the screen. Clark to the bottom on a 1st down. 3.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. No score. DeBerg on a delay fake. Up to Don Woods. Woods having trouble with the footing. John Scorpan was over there along with Frank Marion, who last week had his first interception of the National Football League. There's Bill Walsh looking around. He's going to send in Eason Ransom, number 80. He'll fill Labo's place through the tight end spot.
All right, he was doing that, but now he's calling that with Joe Montana. The player there with the jacket on is Joe Montana, and he'll do two things. He'll send a player in, or he will signal in. And if he signals, it's the quarterback that's not playing the game. He says that's the way to keep his quarterbacks in the game.
Second down, about 11 yards to go. They lost about a yard on the last play. 3 wide receivers in on this game. Only one set running back. DeBerg back. Pressure put on by Jeter. He hits Solomon, and Solomon is hit immediately by Mike Haynes.
And DeBerg was hit immediately, too, or maybe he was hit after he threw the ball because there's a flag right there, but it'll be holding against the 49ers. And
so San Francisco will back up. That's kind of an insult to injury. Your quarterback gets hit like that, and you're still holding.
Right, and you only complete a pass for 2 or 3 yards. In fact, that one wasn't even for any yards.
Gary Jeter was the man who put the pressure on.
And he was held late. The holding is usually called by the umpire, the man behind the defensive line.
Number 77 on the offense. Still second down.
And we'll watch it again. 77 is Gene Barrett, the left tackle. And we'll see when he holds, it's going to be right at the end. He's right there. And see the arm behind grab the jersey just before Jeter hits DeBerg. The late calls, the late holding calls are always called by the referee.
Boy, you know those calls.
Oh, I learned that.
Second down, 21 yards to go. DeBerg trying to hit Woods, a flag again. That ball wouldn't get away from Woods. As Whittington was over there, couldn't shake it.
That's right. Now this is going to be a holding called right on the line of scrimmage by the umpire. It'll be against the 49ers again. Holding. Thank you. And that flag went down right away. So it's the same person. I think it was Gene Barrett caught twice in a row.
Ooh, and he's the guy that's replaced Ron Singleton, who's had a bad case of flu. And Barrett pressed into starting service.
Barrett has a bad case of holdies. For getting caught.
Number 77 on the offense. Penalty is declined. It's third down.
So it's going to be third down and 21 yards to go. 49ers last week kept completing passes, kept driving. Each time they'd have costly penalties, and that's what's happening here today.
Well, the most costly thing, of course, was that fumble, because they were right down there on the goal line when Don Woods fumbled.
2:22 to go in this first quarter. The 49ers, should they lose today, their 9th in a row, would tie a record, a dubious record. On third down, DeBerg trying somehow to pull this one out. He tries to put some touch on the ball to James Owens, but Whittington was covering pretty well. Tell you that Whittington's all over the place. They tell us he doesn't have great speed, but he's done a pretty good job on those pass drops.
He really has, and they say that Mike Whittington has done a good job any time that he's played. He's been a special teams player. He's played for Brad Van Pelt a few times. They say any time that they've ever called on him, he's done a good job.
Here's Jim Miller, the rookie from Mississippi, to punt. His last 2 weeks he's been struggling, and that is not well hit. Fair catch is called for by Steve Henry. Henry, who was picked up, a former St. Louis Cardinal, has it at the 35, and that punt was only 29 yards.
That's
Jim
the struggle.
Miller is not cooking very well, but if it's any solace to this guy, the leading kicker, Dave Jennings, also had a 29-yarder.
Simple evolution. After 9 years, the Honda Civic has grown a trunk and 2 more doors, plus a lot of other simple features you'd expect to find in a roomy and comfortable sedan. But because it's a Honda, you also get incredible gas mileage. The Honda Civic 4-door sedan, it's simple evolution.
Honda, we make it simple.
Watch what happens when you make a small investment in a Black & Decker router. Suddenly, things you thought only a professional could do, you can do. It'll shape an edge, decorate. It'll trim a counter, make clean grooves to hold shelves. It'll even write your name. A Black & Decker router can turn something ordinary
into something beautiful.
And Black & Decker makes a complete line of routers, starting at incredibly low prices.
Next Saturday, it's barrel rolls and crash dives as pilots from around the world take to the air, and the battle of the NFL cheerleaders continues next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. As you take a look at Mike Freedy, the rookie from Indiana, a number 3 draft pick for Detroit, who's just been sensational. He's given this team an added confidence factor, kind of a catalyst to the team as the Giants have the ball. First down at the 35 after that 29-yard kick by Jim Miller. Gary Shirk goes in motion. We have no score thus far. Sims with time, but he's going to scramble out of there. Nobody apparently open. Now he hits Freedy, and Freedy makes the catch. That'll be a first down at the 47. Dan Buns, and that time Sims, who couldn't find anybody open earlier, did not panic and threw a very fine ad-lib pass.
It was very impressive because he not only threw an ad-lib pass, as we watch Mike Freedy here run his pattern. Now he knows he's supposed to catch the ball there. And now Phil Sims is starting to scramble. So he keeps working, finds the next open area, and gets a completion. Now, Phil Sims came very close to that line of scrimmage before he threw that ball.
He seemed to have good presence of mind, though, didn't he, John?
He sure did.
From the 47, first down for the Giants. That's Shirk again. Now, he'll move around quite often to that tight end spot or go in motion. Sims back. Protection is there. Going deep. Freedy is down there, but also down there is Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson has 1 interception. You know, surprisingly, the San Francisco team this year has only 8 interceptions. And John, you made an interesting analogy. After everyone plays the 49ers, the quarterback that faced them moves up statistically.
Moves up into first place, and we see this score here. Houston 28, the Jets 28. Ken Stabler's come back and thrown 4 touchdown passes.
Boy, they trailed 21-0 in that game. And here is New England over Baltimore. Baltimore had a blow, not only losing today, but Burt Jones hurt his throwing arm in that game. Second down, 10 yards to go. Ernest Gray comes in motion to the bottom of the screen. There's a delay handoff to Billy Taylor. Taylor to the 40. Taylor has a first down to the 35-yard line. There's the man that was out the first 4 weeks of the season with a knee injury. Then the last 2 weeks has been slowed with a thigh injury. They're glad to have him back. He's a fine football player. Bobby Leopold, along with Dwight Hicks, making the stop. That's an 11-yard pickup.
Right, and I'll tell you someone that was real happy to have him back, and that's the line coach of the Giants, Bill Austin. We were talking before the game, and he said, you know, it helps your pass protection. It helps your offensive line to have a back like Billy Taylor back there.
Gordon King is starting that right tackle. We didn't know if he would be in today as he's had some ankle problems. Here's Sims and trying to hit Taylor. Billy Taylor can hang on. Taylor last year had 28 catches, already 23 this year, despite missing all the action. Now here's Van Pelt. Ray Perkins told us he didn't want to play him unless they could design something for that hairline fracture in his elbow.
And it looks like they have something designed. I'm not sure if he'll play or not, but yesterday at practice he was out here. He didn't have any pad on that at all, and of course he didn't practice. But he said, oh, he likes that. Looks like he's giving us a little smile. Thanks, Brad. But he said that if he could get something designed that satisfied him, Ray Perkins, he would play.
Second down and 10 for the Giants. Sims looking to Freedy, and what a catch by Mike Freedy, and that's another first down. Charles Johnson defending on the play, and that shows you the acrobatic ability of Mike Freedy.
And watch Phil Sims here. It's a blitz, a safety blitz, and he gets hit just as he throws that ball. I know we were talking to Ray Perkins yesterday, and you asked him, you know, what are the things that you look for in a young quarterback? The first thing he said was toughness. He said 3 things: toughness, smartness, and a competitor. And he showed his toughness hanging in there.
He got all 3 of those in this young man, Sims, who's 5 of 7 for 47 yards. Taylor in motion, first down from the 25-yard line. Sims back. In the end zone is Gray. Gray trying to reach that one as doubling back a former teammate, Ray Rhodes. Also back there was Dwight Hicks. Ernest Gray, who's had some sensational games this year, in particular against St. Louis with 4 touchdown catches. And then, of course, last week with 3.
Phil Sims is there waiting for the play now. The play is also signaled into him. But the thing that I like about him is he throws the ball up the field. You know, we see there's a lot of passing in the game, but a lot of the passing is junk stuff. They dump it off to a back here and there underneath, below the stick. He throws it up the field and into the end zone.
North-south, right? Here is Bo Matthews on the second down 10. A big Bo Matthews is running over some people to the 21-yard line. And I say big Matthews is 6'3", around 225 pounds. Tutalo and Johnson eventually dropped him at the 21.
Eventually is right. Bo Matthews has never been accused of not being strong. Watch this now. He catches a ball out here in the opening. Now, these fellows in the red shirts have to come up and tackle him, and I'll guarantee you that's no fun. He looks like a bowling ball. Look at him. Ooh, it takes a bunch to get him, doesn't it?
And the next time you come up, you think about it a little bit.
Or you think about it right now. I hope that doesn't happen again.
3rd down and 6. Gray to the bottom of the screen. To the top, Freedy split out. Sims. There's Freedy. This time he can hang on. A very similar route that was run earlier. Johnson defending on the play. And that is going to bring up a 4th down. We have an overtime game. Houston and the New York Jets into overtime, 28-all. And that's a big game because Cleveland won today and Houston must win. Pittsburgh losing. Boy, that division has really been something this year.
That's what the National Football League is all about. You know, on that last pass, Gary, again, they came with a safety blitz, and it looks like the 49ers game plan is to use the 3-man line on defense as opposed to the 4-man and give the Giants a lot more blitzing.
38-yard field goal attempt. As you saw on the screen, Danelo's hit 6 in a row, hasn't missed since October 19th, and he has now. Danelo wide to the right. And so we're still scoreless with only 5 seconds left in this first quarter of play. Danelo has been the difference in the last 2 games for this New York team. He's kicked 2 field goals over 50 yards in length, but that time from 38 yards out, he doesn't get it. He's now 11 of 19 for the year. So both these teams, John, have gotten within scoring range and have come away with no points.
I think you're bad luck for these Giant kickers. You mentioned that Jennings is the leading kicker in the National Football League, and he punts a 29-yarder. You mentioned that Danelo hasn't missed one, and he misses one. I don't think they're going to like you.
Wait a minute. We got them next week. You can't talk that way.
Well, they probably won't like you next week.
From the 21, DeBerg to Solomon. Oh, Solomon had that one go right through his hands. Defending on the play again is Haynes as our first quarter has come to a close here. Beautiful day here in the Bay Area as the San Francisco 49ers trying to end this 8-game losing streak. The Giants would like to win their 3rd in a row, return home, and make it 2 wins this year against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Take it easy. You know, I was known for working long and hard during training camp. Why, even after my teammates were asleep, I'd still be out practicing my moves, and that's still important. So I drink light beer from Miller. Light tastes great. It's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer, and the best thing is it's less filling. Because listen, I still train the same way as the old days. Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
This man leads the good life. He puts on his bow tie, he puts on his tuxedo, and then he puts on his Accord LX, our most luxurious Honda, with features like variable assist power steering, digital clock, and air conditioning as standard, with plush seats and deep pile carpeting. So, for people who lead the good life, the car that leads the simple life.
Honda, we make it simple.
Television should be more than an electronic tranquilizer. At its best as an art form, television should touch you, involve you, move you. The art of television, experience it at its best on the one television that is itself a work of art. The Emmy Award-winning Sony Trinitron. Sony, the one and only.
We start the second quarter play at Candlestick Park from the 21-yard line, 2nd down 10. As you see Denver jumping out on top of Seattle early in that game. We'll keep you posted on the scores. Steve DeBerg off to Earl Cooper. Cooper has a block, and he's to the 24-yard line. Mike Whittington, we've called his name quite often in the early going of this game, over to make the stop. Steve DeBerg, who has taken every snap thus far in this game. We are going to be very aware of the fact that they can sneak Joe Montana in there at any instant, and did last week.
That's right. Steve's waiting for the play now. It was interesting on that play. They lined up Earl Cooper in the I formation as the tailback or halfback. He's usually the fullback, of course. I think they're satisfied with his pass receiving, but they would like to see him become a more important part of the running game.
On third down conversions, thus far, San Francisco 2 of 3 as they have a 3rd and 7. DeBerg falling down to defender. Cooper was overthrown. Defensive linebacker John Scorpan had fallen down. Had that ball been close to Cooper, John, that would have been a long gain on this play.
It would have been. He would have had a big play on that. As we watch the pass rush again, the Giants are playing a 3-man line. In the passing downs like this, they go to a 4-man line. Excuse me, Nick. Excuse me, they're putting very good pressure on Steve DeBerg.
And here's a kick on 4th down by Miller. That's Alvin Garrett. Garrett at the 35, 40, has a picket line to the 50. He's into the San Francisco into the field at the 46-yard line. Little Alvin Garrett at 5'7". Dan Buns, Craig Pookie over to make the stop as Jim Miller on that last kick. Not really getting what he wanted on that one, really. A 39-yarder. The Giants have it at the 49er into the field.
The Thin Black Line. Thin Line Ramunda by Speidel. A masculine watch band for today's thinner watches. Thin, supple, with a look of rich black leather. It's the ultimate expression of Speidel elegance.
You think it makes me look thinner?
No, darling. It makes your watch look thinner. The Thin Black Line. Thin Line Ramunda by Speidel.
Hi, my name's Jerry. We're identical twins.
Well, almost.
I like this 1981 Toyota truck because it's tough.
I like this 1981 Toyota truck because it's low price.
She always likes a bargain.
And he always likes to be tough.
Look, I see my sister's point. For the money, this truck is hard to beat.
And I see my brother's point. A truck should be tough, like a Toyota.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Macho.
Oh, what a feeling. Tough deal. Toyota.
Well, San Francisco doesn't have the ball right now, but are we going to see this guy when they do, Joe Montana?
I would suspect that the next time the 49ers get the ball, we'll see Joe Montana. Looks like Steve DeBerg on the last 2 series has been bothered by the rush. He tried to throw a couple of touch passes, and he really didn't get anything on him or get the control that he'd like to have.
He doesn't have the mobility, DeBerg doesn't, that Montana has, and that's why they like Joe.
They probably figure against that 4-man rush, they'd like to have a little more mobility.
From the 46, first down, Gray in motion, Sims. We have no score in this game. Almost intercepted. Dan Buns, 57, out of Long Beach State, who's starting in place of the injured Scott Hilton, almost had his first interception of the year. Those doggone linebackers, you're always complaining about they put so much tape on their hands they can't pick off those passes.
They have the tape in the hands and those things in their arms, and they can never catch. They talk about it all week, how they're going to get an interception, and then they get all taped up and padded up and drop them when they have an. But he could have had a touchdown on that play because there was no one out there on this right side.
Some changes. Jimmy Webb has come in at defensive right end for San Francisco. Tutalo coming off the field. Second down, 10, Taylor. And Taylor is just short of the 45. Lawrence Pillars with the stop. Now let's go to New York again and Brent Musburger.
4th and goal for the Dallas Cowboys. Danny White barks signals against the Washington defense, and this time the Redskins hold. The Redskins take over, and they trail the Cowboys 7-0. Back to Gary Bender in San Francisco.
Thank you, Brent. And now at the 46-yard line, we have 3rd down 10 for the Giants. That last running play just didn't net anything. There's your 3rd down conversions. Sims stepping up in the pocket. Pillars has him. Lawrence Pillars, who's in there usually because he's so effective against the run, that time got to Phil Sims, and that brings up 4th down.
Right, and again, we'll see a 4-man line. Both of these teams are using the 3-man line. Then on the long yardage situations, they go to the 4-man line. Both of the 4-man line teams have been effective today.
People in the New York area very familiar with Pillars. He, of course, played for the Jets last year, started 15 games for him. Coming over here, and he's been a good football player for the San Francisco team. Dave Jennings to kick, and he didn't hit that one well. Solomon fumbled the ball. It gets out of bounds. So the 49ers get a break. The kickers are not hitting the ball very well today, and Solomon here, after a 31-yard kick, fortunately had this ball go out of the field of play.
I know that one thing, that Jennings really doesn't like to punt here. He said he punted here 5 years ago, and this is a real win thing, and he said it's not nice to be back.